Good morning. Thank you, everybody. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
So today we celebrate Ohigan, and this occurs twice a year at the solar equinoxes in March and September. During the Ohigan season, which is actually 7 days surrounding the actual day of the equinox. So it is 3 days before and 3 days after, and the day of the equinox is the Ohigan season. It's thought that the 6 paramitas came about as a Mahayana response to the Hinayana concentration on the Eightfold Path and the Four Noble Truths. When we look at the Eightfold Path and the Four Noble Truths, they are in fact personal guidelines to help us as individuals. They instruct us in how to do things such as enhance our health, stay on an ethical path, establish correct views, establish a correct view of the world and humanity, develop wisdom, and so forth. Mahayanists originally felt that there was an imbalance in this approach, as it gave greater weight to personal achievement and not enough attention to altruism. So Mahayana Buddhists felt that the emphasis on the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path alone was insufficient for its goal, which is to work diligently not only for personal enlightenment, but also for the improvement of one's fellow human beings and of all society. Paramita originally was translated into Chinese as crossing over, reaching the limitless, or reaching the other shore. Quoting from Essentials of Buddhism by Ohigan Misuno, I quote, "These translations are derived from traditional interpretations of the term as param ita. Param means to the other shore, and ita means reach. By means of paramita practice, a person leaves this shore of birth and death and reaches the other shore of nirvana." So you will notice in your program that there's an explanation down there on the last page of the Japanese term, Ohigan. So today during the service, we offered food, water, flowers, and incense to the Eternal Buddha as described in chapter 16 of the Lotus Sutra. Today we also offered light. Each of you carried a tea light from one side of the Hondo, crossing over the center line in front of the Honzon of the Eternal Buddha. As you did so, I hope you were careful and mindful. If for no reason, then you wanted to avoid spilling the candle and causing harm. Perhaps you had already grasped the symbolism in the act of carrying the candle. If not, you know now. There is also something else to be aware of, and that is not just the physical act of carrying the candle, but of your act of intention, your mindfulness. So it is how we should approach this week of Ohigan. Our attention should be focused on greater striving to follow these 6 perfections, the 6 paramitas listed on the back of your program, so that we may cross the shore from this Saha world to the land of eternal enlightenment, not just for ourselves, but for others. We are not just carrying our own candle. We are not just crossing over for ourselves. We should always be mindful of how we can give and how we can be more generous to the Dharma and to others. How we can observe the precepts so that we can be true to others. How we can have patience with others. How we can strive with greater effort to help others. How we can be mindful of others. And how we can develop the wisdom to help others. The 6 paramitas are the perfections for bodhisattvas. As practitioners of the Lotus Sutra, we are the bodhisattvas who emerged from below the earth and who made a solemn vow to the Eternal Buddha in the presence of millions of emanations of the Buddha, in the presence of all the Buddhist deities, and in the presence of the historical Buddhist disciples. We pledged before such great disciples as Ananda, Shariputra, Kasyapa, Manjusri, and others such as Maitreya, many treasures Buddha, Kannon, Kishimojin, Bishimon, and so on. We pledge to do what none of them could do, what none of them would the Buddha allow to do, and that is to spread the Lotus Sutra in this age, in this, the Saha world. Think about that for a moment. We don't often mention that. There are many great names in Buddhism, but it is us that bowed and were given the task by the eternal Buddha to do what none of them could do. Following the 6 paramitas helps us to become better, stronger, more capable in carrying out our original vow to the eternal Buddha. They are like the stone on which we sharpen the blade of our lives, so that we may better cut through the illusions of suffering and lead countless others to the Dharma of the eternal Buddha. I hope you will continue to chant Yodaimoku and recite the Lotus Sutra with great joy as you strive daily in your lives and as you strive to perfect yourselves and reveal your true identities as Jianobosatsu, the Bodhisattvas from beneath the ground. And let's see, so that's the end of my Dharma talk.